welcome to Shield Wall Sessions, where it is three friends talking about all things fantasy, all things books.
I'm Meg.
I'm Simona.
And I'm Katie. And welcome to the chaos, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, this was take 3 because I messed up the first time. I got too excited. And that was quite...
Jumped the gun, you might say.
Jumped the gun right then and there. Holy cow. Why did I even do that? This is why you guys don't put me in charge.
You went into podcast mode. It sounded great.
I absolutely did go into podcast.
You did.
And now it's like, okay, we're good. It's done. Okay. Should we do our first little icebreaker? What villain low-key had a point?
Thanos.
Oh.
Go. Tell us why.
Thanos. Honestly, because
is this
snapping
book or
half
movie?
the world. Oh, this is the Avengers.
Well, I know. Okay, we'll go.
Do we have to do book? Wait, okay. Do we have to do book? Because he was the first person I thought of when I did that. Because
do it then.
Snapping half the population honestly just makes sense sometimes. We are in a world of freaking chaos, and if half the population just disappeared, I wish we could pick who, but we can't. So we would just have to hope that there's certain people who would go away.
See, with my luck, it would be me. And what does that say about me? What does that say about me? Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Do you have one, Meg, or should I go?
I would say Lysander from Red Rising. Low-key has a point.
You know, I'm gonna agree with you, but I've not read it.
But you've not read it.
Not read it.
I would say
that's a crazy take.
No, I didn't say I agree with him, but I say I can understand it.
He had a point.
He had a point. And like, I don't know, he is what, you expected me to say, what, Lycos from Faithful and Fallen? That man did not have a point.
God, no, he didn't.
Exactly, like, it can always be worse, darling. So,
Loki,
I think Lysander is one of the best villains. Do I agree with him? No. Do I like him?
He's a well-written villain.
No.
He's a very well-written,
really well-written, layered character. So
he is, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Cersei from A Song of Ice and Fire or the Game of Thrones HBO series, because I don't care what anyone says. She was conniving. She was strategic. She put herself in a place of power, used her influence and privilege to get there, and she was doing it to protect her children.
But she had sex with her brother.
You know, that's a detail. That's a minor detail.
The kid out a window.
Minor?
She didn't show the kid out the detail.
Bloody story.
No,
despite being,
but she knew Jamie would if she said so.
She has a point. She has a point. And the fact that every person that I've ever argued this talks about how she's a drunk, how she's crazy, but every single one of those points is like, but there's a man in that series that does the same thing. So what's the difference?
But saying she's defending her children, I mean, it's Joffrey.
Like, you would defend your baby.
Not if it was Joffrey. I would shove him out the window.
What kind of a mother are you?
A realistic one?
That isn't a face. That's crazy.
You know? Agree to disagree.
This is really reaffirming why you would be gone in Simona's circumstance, Katie.
Apparently. I'm out here defending a mother's
Joffrey
love.
of all things.
Joffrey.
I didn't say I liked him, but that's her baby.
Do you think Ramsay Bolton's mum is gonna protect you?
But, so here's the funny thing is
where do we draw the line?
I don't know, because she wasn't around. I like Ramsay Bolton as the better villain, but I don't think he has a point. He is completely unhinged in all forms of media. And so, but like, she has a point. Like, I would defend my babies. I would do some stuff.
If it was Joffrey.
If we're going to talk about mothers defending their babies, I would say Orca. Thank you so much. Not Cersei.
But she's not a villain.
Well, yes.
But she's not a villain. She's the villain in somebody's story.
True.
We just don't see that. See? Well, with that, shall we get into it? Shall we do it? Guys, our first pick for this book club podcast is we are starting with the Boudica series, book number 1, Dreaming the Eagle. Holy cow. Manda Scott, she's an autobi author after this book. I agree. Absolutely loved this book.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first and talk about it?
I mean, I can.
Do it.
I feel like I'm bad at it, but let's try this. Let's do it. Do it for the podcast, right? Do it for the plot.
Do it for the plot.
Honestly, I just freaking loved Boudica. Like, I thought she was such a well-written, multi-layered character. She was very relatable in her anger. Her temper was relatable to me because I have a temper. And I feel like if I was put in the situations that she was put in, you know, she's constantly like questioning the village. She's constantly like questioning everything about herself, about everyone. She has such, I don't want to say bad mental health because it's relatively fine, but her mental health plays a huge aspect in every decision she makes. And I love that about her. Like, I loved the layers she had in her story, like in her character.
Oh, absolutely. For me. I should pause and say I forgot to mention we are talking at length about this book, which includes spoilers. So if you haven't read this book, please come back because you can watch and listen to us anytime after you've read the book.
Yeah.
But yes, I absolutely agree. Where she felt, and I know this is historical fiction, but Manda Scott breathed so much life into all of these characters that they felt nuanced. They felt real and flawed. And there were moments with both the characters, both Boudica and her half brother Bon, where I'm questioning what they are doing and what their thought process is. I can understand it because we see the whole story going on. But wow, Manda Scott does such a wonderful job of crafting these characters and bringing them off the page and into my imagination.
No, for real.
I think one of my favorite aspects of it was the fact that it didn't matter gender in it at all. You just see them openly loving however that looks for them. And I was like, I love this. I love the freedom that comes with it. I love getting to witness that as someone that you don't see that in our society. There's like shame in every aspect, but watching that was so beautiful, and like the understanding and the love that they had all together, different aspects of love. I was like, oh my God, my heart. I couldn't.
Yes. And the fact that like even in their tribal society, like everybody is taking care of everybody, and it didn't matter if you were or were not related to this person, you were taken care of. And it was like it just added to the beauty of that society. And like you said, like we're all now put into these little boxes, and this is how you must behave, and this is how you must love, and da 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 da. And that's not the case. And it was so nice to see it like this.
Yeah.
You know what else I really loved was the animal companions in this entire, I guess it's one animal companion, but the integration for these animals with the dreamers.
Yeah.
And that was so cool. And the whole time when we meet, is it Hale, the dog? I immediately thought of Storm from The Faithful and the Fallen, and it just warmed my heart. Like just a boy and his dog. And I'm like, this is so beautiful. And the fact that that Manda Scott was a vet, or is a vet, I don't know. You can tell that she's put in so much time and process into all of these, because it wasn't just like the horse gallops. It was like she talks at length about all of these different type of animals and what they do. And I loved it. I loved it.
You can see the care and like the consideration that went into crafting the animals as their own like individual character points in it without actually having point of views or being like a main person.
It's crazy. And you want to know, we'll get to it at the very end, but do you want to know who's writing? There were two specific authors that this author reminded me of so much.
I think that's a good idea. Well, I think we should all go around and give 2 examples of books that this reminds people of.
Okay, mine is, she reminded me of John Gwynne and his writing so much. Like in my notes, I wrote at one point, I said, my heart is truly so happy. This reminds me of John Gwynne's writing and how much I've missed it. Because, and I'll get into the second author in a second, but like, there's just this simple elegance of the words that they use and the way that they describe these things in this very simplistic life before chaos happens and ensues, and just the way that they make these characters. I loved it. She also reminds me of Robin Hobb.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as you went with simplistic nature, I was like, this woman is about to bring out my love, my queen, Robin Hobb, because no one does like just writing humanity in its like basic form better than Robin Hobb.
Yes, it's the beauty in the mundaneness of life.
Yeah.
That they can just put that spark in. And it was like, this is so good. Oh my gosh. Simona, did she remind you of you? Or did she remind you of anybody?
Honestly, yeah. Well, with John Gwynne, yes. And I think it was you I was talking to about this. Reading some of his favorite books, you can really see, not like where he pulled inspiration, but you can see where he has read these books. I guess pulled inspiration, but you can hear, like you said, his voice in the writing, even though these came before John Gwynne, but you can feel like his power in there because we know he loves these, I guess. But those aren't my 2. That's not my 2. I was just agreeing with what you said. David Gemmell, who his other favorite author, he writes like this. So going between David Gemmell and Manda Scott have been refreshing because it has brought me back to what I felt while reading The Faithful and the Fallen. And it has brought me back to that kind of writing. And then it also reminded me a lot of Anne McCaffrey. I mean, I think, I didn't look it up, but part of me wanted to see if maybe Manda Scott is an Anne McCaffrey fan because the way she writes is very lyrical, like Anne McCaffrey's writing is. And that is what I love about the Pern series itself. And again, like you said, Robin Hobb, I think they all kind of go hand in hand with women at that time writing fantasy. But Anne McCaffrey was huge when I was reading this.
Really? I don't think I've read Anne McCaffrey.
Neither, but I have her books on my shelf to get to.
What has she read or written?
The Dragon Riders of Pern Chronicles. So it's kind of like,
I have heard of that.
It's kind of like Robin Hobb, where it's like a 17. I think Anne McCaffrey's is like 43 though. And there's just a bunch of different series that make up this Pern Chronicles. And reading this one, it's her Moretta story. And it is my favorite Anne McCaffrey book of all time. I love Moretta. And the atmosphere that they bring into these books are very similar.
Really?
Anne McCaffrey's good. It's like sci-fi and fantasy. So it's in a sci-fi world, like it's on another planet, but it's old fantasy as well. So there's dragons, like it's a planet that has dragon. It's Anne McCaffrey's amazing. I love her.
Did you guys like the magic system? And I say that very loosely. I guess maybe I should say the magic that is
my
integrated.
2 authors.
What'd you say?
Wow, so you hate
I thought you already did yours.
No.
Sorry. Continue on. I'm so sorry. I thought you did. I'm done hosting, guys. I quit.
You can't steal my line. I said I quit first.
All right,
you can
Meg.
tell this is our first time. Meg, who are your two authors?
I would say it very much gave me the vibe, and I'm not sure if that's because it was more like a recency bias, because I did read both of these quite recently, but Lancelot by Giles Christian, the whole like Arthurian legend back in that time, similar like time period kind of vibe, and the work Giles Christian did with it, immaculate. And then again, read it recently, Gale Song by Shauna Lawless, historical fiction, Ireland. If you put both of them together, it gives you Manda Scott.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
I see that.
I loved both of those books. And then when I got Manda Scott, I was like, this reminds me why I love reading so much. I'm such a big historical, like, fiction fantasy girl. I love it. I love being reminded of things that I maybe watched or heard about or listened to a podcast when I fall asleep as a kid. Like, all of these things speak to my soul in such a way, because that's how I grew up. I grew up watching Merlin and like being obsessed with the Knights of the Round Table kind of thing. So it was just like, oh, I love it so much.
This world is so easy to get sucked into because it's that time frame where you're like, oh, that magic is still there, and it brings you back to, like you said, like your childhood. And oh gosh, speaking of magic, it's not a magic system, so I take that back. What did we think about the magical elements in this book? For me, I feel like it was very natural and it flowed incredibly well with it. I almost wish that there was a little bit more, just like a tinge more, instead of just in the prophetic type of sense.
See, I think this is where we're going to disagree, because I think for me, understanding folklore and like going back to Irish, Scottish folklore and like experiencing that, you look at Viking heritage with the gods and things like that, dreaming, it's all very reminiscent of that time period. So I really enjoy it. I don't necessarily think there needs to be a hard magic system for a book to be good.
I would agree. When a soft magic is done well, it's done so well. Like I didn't need an explanation for this. Like you just knew it was just inherent in the water that they're drinking and the food that they're in, the wood. It's everywhere around them. I don't know. I feel like it's just, I needed that more like fantastical type feel to it. And that's where I love historical fiction. As a history buff, I ate this up, but I also love my fantasy, and I wanted just a little bit more of it.
Did you think just maybe you were looking at it from a fantasy lens instead of the historical fiction aspect, and that's why you're like, it felt like it was missing, even though
you're probably
there's
right.
that like separate degree of separate.
Oh, we lost her. So, well, we'll keep going.
Where'd you go? Maybe
I'll try and get her back. Oh my gosh, but you're probably right. I went into it knowing it was historical fiction. I did not go into it, or no, I went into it knowing it was historical fiction. But
you went in a fantasy mindset.
Yes. Of like, because I need that.
I think for me, the beauty of it was knowing that this was what it was like back then. Like,
yes,
you may not have had like the familiar that they have in their animals or things like that, but even looking now, the dreaming aspect, things like that, like, I guess it's closing the gap between like spirituality and people that.
That's such a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I love that with the spirit, like the spirituality. That really is sticking home with me. Holy cow. I love that. Okay. So then, I liked it. I liked the matriarchal system in all of this. And I love how.
We know how much I love a woman.
Women's rights. I found that so very refreshing. And I know that was also probably part of the historical aspect to it. But it was like, oh, it just feels so good to know that there's a village elder and it's a female. and that her mother was the queen. Her dad was not the king. Her dad was just the dude. And I love that. And I love how she was able to, she being Boudica, or formerly, or laterly known as Boudica, is able to come into her power when she gets of age. She wasn't immediately just thrust into it when her mom was dead. Like, I really liked that, where they just took care of everything.
Yeah.
That for me was wonderful.
I think it really shows as well how, again, maybe it's because I'm a man hater, but as time progressed and the world progressed in so many different aspects, men became in power, but wasn't necessarily always like that. Women had value, women had respect, and they were taken as elders because they're wise, and it didn't necessarily always fall on them to handle domestic tasks. Like, they could be seen powerful in so many different aspects. The fact that that's changed now is, it's crazy to me.
Oh, absolutely. And
so
I love that.
Love women. Love the women aspect of it.
Oh, so it was so nice to have it. Okay, we've lost Simona in all of this. Technical difficulties. We have some phone issues, and
we got some growing pains, guys. It's
technology, okay. Right? Yeah, we're growing. We're still new to this, guys, but we're gonna carry on, and she's gonna come back, and we will give her star rating when we get there. Okay, magic system we talked about. Matriarchal society we talked about. You know what? Can we talk about the villain here?
Which one?
Well, good question.
Which one?
For me, Aminios was just he was just sniping, like just sniveling.
Entitled little boy. Just an entitled little boy that's never been told no.
That's a great way of describing that. Holy cow. And I almost said it was chess. What was the game that they played? Do you remember the game? I can't remember the name.
For me, have you ever heard of Go? But like it's like I think it's Chinese, a Chinese board game. It reminds me of Go.
I don't think I've done that or thought about that. For like that board game, I felt like was so symbolic of who they were when he was playing against Bond, like who they were as individuals. Because Aminius is over here and he's like, I'm going to get rid of all of my pieces so very flippantly. He didn't care. And even at one point when Bond's like, hey, but I can, or you're going to get rid of X, Y, and Z. And he's like, I can just buy more horses. I can just go and do this. There was nothing to have been lost by him. And the fact that he was willing to give up, is it Ikias's life, his slave, and like put him as a prize to be won.
The thing for me is with Aminios, because he's never been told no, he holds no materialistic values in the thing that he owns because he knows he can get it again. The thing that he put on stake that he couldn't get back was his pride. And his ego.
That's a good point.
So that was it for me. I was like, as soon as you saw that and people were witness to it, because there were so many aspects during that time where they were doing that, where no one was there. So there was nothing really at stake.
Yes, his tone shifted.
As soon as there were other people there, that was his downfall.
Yes.
And that's why he couldn't accept that.
Holy cow. I never thought about that. I did notice a shift in how he was presenting himself. I loved that Bond had a limit. I'm not willing to do X, Y, and Z. And I feel like that was such a foreshadowing moment. There were so many foreshadowing moments in this book. Also, I feel like the dreams were foreshadowing. I feel like the game was foreshadowing. There was something else. I think it was the part of the school where she's in the island of the dreamers. I feel like that was foreshadowing. And I love, from a writing perspective, I love that Scott laid those in so that it gives us potentially, if it's all to be said, a taste for what's to come if you caught it. But I love that, back to the game, I love that Bond was like, I'm not willing to do this, but he was very gullible. He was very easily baited.
Yeah, I think that's like another aspect of it though. Think about the differences in how they were raised. One grew up in a court system where, again, material items have no value. You've never been told no, but you're aware of like the political machinations going around you, especially because your dad was the one that was playing both sides, essentially. Like,
yes.
Whereas Bond grew up in a like essentially a village society. Yeah, they're technically royalty, I guess, for that aspect of it, but it's much more communal. Everyone has value, everyone has work in different things that they do, that you naturally think people are inherently good because that's all you've seen. Yes, there were raiders and stuff, but you can almost justify that happening because they're also peasants or whatever, like villagers. Like, it's not this big royal oppression, but you live in that aspect. You're not going to know technically any different. All these people around you are good. All they do is chip into society as well. You don't have quote unquote villains in that aspect. You're not going to immediately assume that someone's playing chess while you're playing checkers.
That's a good way of describing that. And you're absolutely right. When there is, everybody was good, like you just said. Like, there was no reason to think that anyone had these ulterior motives, or there was anybody who was trying to get a leg up on somebody. I'm struggling to figure out the word. When you have everything to lose, even though, like, you know that everybody's good, like nobody's going to take anything, but you still have that, like, there's something I can lose. There's something that I have that's too valuable and more precious than X, Y, and Z. You can absolutely tell that that's where Bond was with all of that. And why Ikius, getting him and making sure that he was safe was probably so important, because he formed that friendship with him.
I don't even, like, again, love you. I don't even know if it was necessarily the friendship aspect. It's more that
really,
because realistically, how long did they know each other? They spent an hour
at that point, about maybe an hour.
Yeah, an hour together under the rain, barely like doing anything. Like, I wouldn't say there's necessarily that level of friendship. What I would say is he just realistically understands the value in each human being or each living thing, because how he's grown up in an environment where everyone has value despite disabilities, despite anything that could potentially limit them. And not just that, but their horses, their animals and everything represent their familiars in the dreaming, but also help them maintain their way of life. Like, I just think he holds so much stock in the value of people and value of living things, whereas Ikius could not give a damn about that. And that just showed the stark difference between them as well. And I think that's like kind of a really good introduction to the Rome aspect of it. Like,
oh yes, it was very sterile.
Yeah.
It was very cold. And honestly, I even wrote in my notes, you can tell with when she's writing that when she's talking about the Akani people or even the Koratani people, there's color, there's richness, there's vibrancy in what she's writing. And then you go over here and there's no color. It's devoid of this.
It's very utilitarian.
Yes. It doesn't have texture. It's just sterile.
It's like
there's nothing there.
The way I could describe it now, it's like going from an old school Victorian like house and then to a modern architecturally like sleek lines, nothing. Like, there's no character, there's no personality to it. It's just stark. Whereas you look at Victorian with like sconces and all these like beautiful, intricate detailing, so different. It's like chalk and cheese if you're from Australia and you understand that.
Yes, which I still don't. I still over here. I'm like, I don't get it. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, it's and like day and night. There we go. Is that a little bit better for you?
There we go. Thank you for assimilating to my needs over here. Did you also notice that with like there is obviously a historical significance to to this point that I'm going to make. And I'm fully aware of that. But just from a writing perspective, that's all I'm going for. Did you notice how, again, with the color, the Akani, they focused in on a lot of bronze materials, that gold, not gold, but that richness in the color. And then you had the iron, the silver that was of no color with the Romans.
Like, you think about it, you think about all the work that they put in, the details.
Yes.
To make something like it. Even their weapons were a piece of art because they understand, at least in my mind, I was like, they understand the necessity, but also the impact that taking a human life can do.
Yes.
Whereas you look at Rome and it's just like they don't have that detailing because I don't necessarily think they value that human life as much. You look at the stark differences and you're like, why would this need embellishment? Because we're not even thinking about what we're doing with this.
Speaking of thank you, because that was my perfect little segue.
I'm sorry, what did you segues for you?
You are. What did you think of Iccius's role in informing Bon when he is over in Rome, when he's taken? I feel like he was such a good catalyst into what he is becoming. Did you feel like that with his death and what they did to him?
I don't necessarily think that aspect played out very well, at least for me. I felt like his death served nothing at all. I reckon that could have been played in a different way, purely because I'm like, you had this character that built up and basically caused all of these issues, and then you just killed them off. Like, for me, I think it could have been done better if it went through a bit more. Maybe it's just me because I like a continuous villain, or not even that, but like, I needed more. Like, I don't felt like that served the purpose that it could have.
Really?
At least for me, I didn't think it did. Like, wow, he's dead. Cool. Like,
I think it was fast, especially because that was part 3, and we immediately jump into Bon and Iccius, being trauma bonded is the nicest way possible to describe that. And this poor soul goes through so much, and then he's immediately taken out.
Oh my god, I was thinking of Eminius, not Iccius.
Oh. He had a roll. Poor little dude, and you're over. I was going with it.
Wait a second, no.
No,
that
is.
I'm so creepy.
Yes. What did you think of him?
I was like, hold on a second. Like, how are you saying this had such significant impact? Like,
well, now this.
Never mind. I'm just being stupid.
Well, I'm just like, well, it did happen really fast for part 3, and it could have drug on.
I agree. It was that actually really. Oh, it hurt me. It hurt me a lot. Trauma bond, I don't necessarily want to say, because
no, but that's the nicest way that I could classify it.
It's right, but then I feel like there are people that could get upset if you frame it that way, purely because the dynamic of the relationship. Like, you don't want to.
I say that with quotes.
Yeah, you don't want to, like, just trying to be politically correct.
No, you're correct.
Upset anyone.
I say that with quotes because
it's right. But human connection is so important, where you can relate to things like that, and that is the only like light source in both of their lives, is this comfort that they find within each other, and for that to be taken away is so it's so hard for Bon as a character, because it's just like, it's a catalyst for you, but you're so far removed, you think everyone's dead, the one person that you had from there is now gone as well. What do you have?
Now what do you do? Exactly. I do think that it happened. Did I want that character to suffer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In no way, shape, or form did I want that character to suffer. I wish it would have went. I wish he would have stayed around just a little bit longer for me, because
it did more happen, of like the relationship between them.
Yeah, like it happened relatively fast in book 3, and I understand, or part 3, excuse me. I understand that the rest of the book needed to happen, and we needed to get there. But holy cow, this poor character just suffered so much through that portion, just because of needless cruelty. And I feel like
that's again and just like, unfortunately, the reality of it
for human life. Yep, because they're lesser than. And that, I feel like you said, really propelled Bond into the situation that he's in. And that would be choosing to become a Roman soldier, and choosing, I don't even know if choosing is the right word, and going along with the idea that he's going to help invade his homeland because he feels like nobody's there. And this was the part that I was like, I'm screaming at this character, because I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. Why are you doing this? And then I would forget that he doesn't know that his sister is alive.
Yeah, I think I'll play devil's advocate here, because again, when the Roman comes, it's that connection, because he spent a deal of time with these people. He understands the way of life. He understands the loss and the magnitude of it, that Bun doesn't have his people, and like who those people were, he knows as well. Like there is that familiarity there for him that I think he would attach to anyone at that point. Anybody. And it doesn't matter what they serve necessarily, because in Bond's eyes, he's already lost it, but he still has that sense of familiarity with someone that understands what he's lost. Do I agree with it? No. Does it piss me off? Yes. Yes, it does. But there's a part of me that can understand that, because if I lost everything and found someone that understood the magnitude of what that was, I would probably latch onto them too.
What did you think about Corvus?
You're going to have to remind me who that is.
This was the character that is introduced to us as the Roman, and he is shipwrecked. And then that friendship ends up saving Bond when he's under the Romans, under that umbrella. What did you think of his relationship with Bond?
I can see how it can be like quote unquote convenient, or
that's how I felt.
I knew you would. I know you, but like, I think for me, again, because it's that time period, because they saw how intimate and loving someone can be despite gender, despite any of these issues back with the Iceni, that I thought it was quite beautiful, to be honest. Did I think it was convenient? Slightly, yeah, but they spent so much time together in Bond's homeland with his people. They had that familiarity again already. They had that an intimate friendship, I would say. I wouldn't say it necessarily led to that intimacy, but why can't love evolve that way? Like,
I would agree.
Do I like it because of what that means? No. But can I understand it? Yes.
I didn't see it coming when Bond and him are fostering that friendship in the very beginning with the Iceni. And I really liked him then. And then I don't know what it was with the shift, but I felt like he not blindly loyal, just kind of almost just a little bit complacent of like, this is what we have to do. And I'm like,
color.
What?
He lost his color. You go from that world where it was like so vibrant and rich.
Yes.
And you're back in a utilitarian mindset. But I think if you grow up in that environment where loyalty and just following a principle is what's expected, you just do it because you don't know any better.
That's not anything different. That makes sense.
You're back in that now, and you're either going to be a traitor and like never get to be in your homeland, never get to see people that you were raised with, or you just have to follow it. Like,
yeah,
I think I just understand it. It's very Libra of me, but I see both sides.
I hope that if it continues on in the second, third, and fourth books, that I will grow on it. But to me, I was like, this just feels convenient. And while it felt natural in a sense, like you were talking about, where it's like you cling to somebody that you know, you only know that way of life. Like it just felt.
It needs more. It
just felt convenient. And I'm like, I don't like this. But speaking of love, Boudica and I forget his name every time. I had to look at my notes when we were recapping.
That's what I say, right?
Caratus?
Yeah.
Something like that. Caratus? I can't remember.
Can we start with her relationship with
Airmid
first?
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes. You brought this up earlier, where it was love is free. And I loved that because in the very beginning of the book, where you're talking about like these two young girls and they're figuring one another out, and then they're figuring out what the other means to them. I feel like that was just friendship. And just like that true friendship bond. And then as they grew older, the jealousy aspect came into it. And the true romantic feelings, instead of just, this is who this person is. And I really loved that, because I feel as though that was like integral to Boudica coming into her own. And I just love Airmid. I feel like she's like just a little weird girl, and I love her.
I love a quirky little like mystical princess. That's how she sat with me, like
with her frogs.
I loved it. I thought it was very like foundational for Boudica, like getting to experience friendship and love and intimacy with someone was so
with no constraints, with no parameters.
There was nothing, like no expectations. And there were so many, I think for her, there were so many different pressures and expectations on herself because she got her warrior. Warrior, I can't remember. Oh my God.
Title.
Thank you. A warrior title so early in her life that she had all these external pressures and expectations, and all of these people, even if it was internally, had these different ideas for her and what her life should look like, that having someone that was just there to have friendship and open communication and intimacy with her was so foundational, and that built in so many different aspects, like with her relationship that then flourished with, I forget his name too.
I just said it too,
I don't know how to pronounce their names.
I don't either, and I listened to the book, and I wrote Corrado, but I don't think that's right. And you know what else I really liked about Airmid and Boudica is the growth from girlhood into womanhood. And you can see that in the first book, where they're with each other, they're at the beach, the shore, and they make that vow of, I'm not going unless you come with.
Yeah.
And they make that. And then we see in, is it book 3 at some point, when they've become an adult, and one is still holding on to that childhood vow, and the other has already grown up and is like, now it's not just so black and white. There's shades of gray.
Yeah. There's also that age difference between them as well, where one's
about that.
growing faster than the other. So she's still holding on to that like childhood expectation, while the other one's like already in adulthood and like, well, it's not as easy as it is when we're a child and we can say things and we can promise them, because realistically this is the environment that we're in now.
Yes. And I feel like it helped propel Boudica into who she is at the very end.
I agree.
I have to take responsibility. It's not just black and white as much as I want it to be.
Yeah.
And with her love interest, I'm just going to call it that. I can't. What is it?
Caradoc.
Why did I put Karada?
I couldn't tell you, princess.
I don't know.
It's
okay.
Caradoc.
I just forgot the C at the end. I have Carado. Okay. I can't remember how you just said it. Caradoc?
Yeah.
Her love interest. Her love interest. I feel like with Airmid, her relationship with Airmid walked, so her relationship with him could run, in the sense of, this is who I'm going to be, well, I guess in our terms, tied with forever. And it seems like she's fully aware of that because of the prophecy that she's being given. I do like them together. I think it's cute. But I like Airmid more.
Oh my gosh. Are we just
Do you like him?
in every aspect?
You like him more? Tell me why.
I think for me, again, just because something was your first doesn't mean it has to last. Like, I think with Ermid, it was foundational for her to learn how to love and how to have friendship and how to turn up for people in any aspect. But that doesn't mean that has to be her only person.
Yeah.
And I guess in a way they did grow separate because they had different ideas of what they wanted. And there was that level of, I don't know if it necessarily can be called resentment, but when Boudica didn't get her dreaming, how are you then going to have that? Yeah, how are you then going to have that same relationship with someone that is excelling in that aspect? Like, is the greatest that you've seen. So I think learning to pivot and still keeping that friendship, still keeping that same love that you have with someone in a different way, but then moving past it was important. And I really, really like the relationship with Caradoc because there was so many parts where it felt adult, which I didn't get with
I will give you that,
because they had that friendship, they had that loyalty and that understanding that if either one of them ever needed anything, they would be there. But
do you think he's going to be around forever?
No.
As in, do you
see Manda Scott killing one of them? And I think I know which one it's going to be. Unfortunately, can't wait to cry my eyes out.
See, in my mind, I was so prepared for him to abandon her. Because...
Do you have trauma we need to talk about?
Maybe. I don't know. And that's why I was like, I like Airmid because she's there. She's always there. She's that warm blanket that you can come to at the end of the night. And yeah, they absolutely did. You're completely correct. Where with the whole, like, you don't have to be with the same person. You can grow apart and still find some semblance of love, yet pivot to something more adult. That 100% correct. I think I just liked her more. We also got more page time with her. And so it was like, I know her. And with him,
I'm gonna stop you right there to start with. I think I'm gonna disagree with you. I think you looked at a lens again, maybe from a point where all romance needs to have that intimacy for it to be romance. But I think what made their story so beautiful for me was the development through friendship. And of course, there has to be a really loud car right now. Thank you so much.
I can hear it.
That was obnoxiously loud. Anyway, as I was saying, I think for me, the beauty in it was the development through time. Like, they had that loyalty together and they kept... You're talking
about Airmid, correct?
No.
Oh,
okay, no. For me, again, the fact that it kept feeling, I don't want to say like fate, but there kept being intervals where they would interlock with each other.
Yes.
What's the word I'm looking for?
Engage?
No, where like their paths would cross in like the most... I don't know what my brain's just.
It was kismet.
Yeah.
It was serendipitous.
It just it spoke to me. I love when things don't, I think because I'm not like an insta love person, I don't like it being immediately a relationship. I think watching them go from children that you would have a little bit of resentment and a little bit of, oh, why is the son of this person that did this really, really bad thing here? And you're learning to like move past your initial judgments of someone, forming that friendship, forming that loyalty, and then you get to see each other in separate times, like years apart, seeing how you've grown, how you've like come into your own, and then coming together and it being so beautiful. I loved that. I loved it. And I think the aspect for me as well is that it was always going to be them. Like you could tell it was always going to be them, and they knew it as well, but they still went and did what they needed to do. They still had that like adult.
I don't know if you can hear that. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
What is going on?
That is my husband.
Where's I'm going to kill you?
In the room next to me.
But
at first I'm like, there's a thunderstorm.
No, I was like, what? Why are they squeaking tires? Who's going on a getaway?
Okay.
But yeah,
holy cow.
The fact that I knew it was going to be them, and then I could watch how they slowly realized that they were it for each other, and then like it didn't happen immediately. That's why I was so locked into it. I was like, Ermid walked so Caradoc could run. And that's what like really spoke to me. So we'll agree to disagree, but I
guess sorry, my last little thought, because you're hitting on so many points that I absolutely agree on. Like I love that it wasn't insta love. I love that there was growth in everything that they did together. I just couldn't shake the feeling like this guy is gonna do something to this woman and I don't like it. But I mean, we're gonna find out in the later books. And that's why I was like, Ermid, she's not gonna do anything. She's loyal to a fault.
But no, she's not, because she already did.
You're right.
Sorry, say it again.
Yes. No, I'm not gonna say it again. Meg, you are right.
Thank you.
Is that better? It's now out there for the world. You're right. She wasn't always there. She's not a blind loyalist.
And it's not just that, but I don't know. It feels, maybe it's because how the dad was involved with two separate women. I don't necessarily think it's a monogamous thing.
You know, that's a good point.
So I think there are like parts of you that can love multiple different people for different reasons at different times, and it doesn't necessarily mean to be a closed door, and you don't love anyone less just because you love someone else in this.
That's true.
And
I think that was a good point.
You can love people in different ways too. Like,
yes,
I can love Ermid as the one that showed me what intimacy,
my friend.
And like you're always going to love that. You have that connection and loyalty to each other because you grew up together. You were like, this was your person for such a long time, but that doesn't mean that Caradoc's love is any less just because it's different.
Yeah, I'll roll with that. Okay, what was your favorite part of this book, or your least favorite? I can go first if you want.
I think my least favorite was the whole Rome aspect of it. I think when after Iccius died, the aspect of that, I just didn't care as much. And maybe that's because it didn't feel that vibrancy to me. I was just like, oh, I don't like the Romans, so I don't care to spend time with them, but I understand why it's necessary for the story. And Barn went from like this multi-layered character to me to someone that just felt like very flat. But I'm like, that also relates to his story and what is going on in his story, that I'm like, okay, you're just being a bit judgmental because you're like, how dare you do this to the characters that you actually like? But you have to put yourself in the mindset of what he's going through and what his perspective is, not knowing that these people are actually alive.
Yes.
So I'm like, Oh, I get that, but I would say my favorite. I just love a badass woman. I really do. I just love a badass woman, and I love watching her growth through that and letting go of, I think, her expectations of herself as well, wanting to be a dreamer and experiencing that. Like, because you're still, like, in some ways she's still getting little dreams. Like, it's not to the extent that she thought it would be, but she is still coming into her own and doing things in a way that, oh, it just sings to me. I love watching a badass woman, a fierce woman hold her own against men, for lack of a better word.
And to be flawed. That's my biggest thing. Like, you have to feel real to me. And that's like with John Gwynn's Bloodsworn Saga. With Orca. Like, she is flawed. Oh yes, you have the prettier versions out. I know, our shrines. They're flawed. I almost said deeply. They are flawed women. They make mistakes. They're capable. They have these moments where you're just not necessarily like, I don't know if I like that.
I don't agree with everything you're doing.
Yes.
But that's why I love you so much.
Yes. Because there's a growth.
Mistakes.
Yes. If you have plot armor, or if you do everything right, I don't want to deal with that. And I feel like with Boudica, you see her grow through that. And I feel like that the whole Island of the Dreamers and learning to be the warrior and that schooling, which actually was my least favorite part of the whole book. And I feel like
I can see that.
For me, it just got confusing. I just got confused. And that's, I think, on me. Because at first I'm like, okay, you know what it was? I even wrote it down. I know that this is a historical
It's the
fiction.
fantasy thing again, isn't it?
Maybe. With the whole rock situation, where like there was 5,000 rocks or 5,000 students or something like that. It was some huge number.
Yeah.
And only so many. Yeah. And I'm like, well, we already know she's going to get a stone. Like, I don't feel any sort of weight or tension in this entire sequence because we know she's going to get one.
It wasn't about her getting it one. It was who the 30th was.
This is true. For me, I was like, she did earn it. When I wrote this down, she hadn't earned the title, the placement, but I'm like, I need her to work toward it. Like, I almost wish that she hadn't gotten the stone. I almost wish she hadn't have. Did you feel the same way?
Not necessarily got the stone, but I didn't want her to get that leadership title if it wasn't earned. If she didn't, like, there were times where she used her voice and times where she didn't. I was like, in the first aspect where she was just going along with others, I was like, I can tell you don't want to do that, but you're also like, oh, I don't deserve this, or I haven't been here long enough, I haven't earned this, so you revert to taking orders from other people. But then when she finally realized, no, I disagree, like, she used her voice, she into it, then I was like, now
with the horn, like, that was so powerful that it's like, yes, I love this. And that's when I was like, okay, you've earned it. You've earned it. And that was my least favorite part, was the school. And like, but I'm also not a huge school type fan. Like, I don't like that in any book. And so the second that got
wild to me, because like an academy setting is one of my favorites. Like, I love a training arc. I love a training arc. Yes.
Maybe I need to do more well done academia.
See, I don't necessarily think it needs to be academia. Like with Faithful and the Fallen and Malice, when Corbin's in the training arc. Yeah. That was one of my favorite things.
I was like,
maybe it's just not for you, and that's okay.
I don't think it is. I can be wrong. I can be different. I can be unique. That's how it is.
Just know that you're wrong.
I am not wrong. Okay.
People are going to watch like, she's so mean.
Or they're going to think I'm just the loser over here. And they're like, thank God for that Australian. Putting her in her place.
Always do, darling.
This is what Meg does to me all the time. And it's fine. I love it. Okay, we talked about equivalent authors. Do you have an equivalent book? And you kind of actually touched on it with Gale Song, where you're like, if you
Lancelot and Gale Song were like reminiscent for me. I think the only one that I could think of that could be similar, but I haven't read yet, could potentially be The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. Another Arthurian
type of book. Sorry, I was taking a drink of water. I have also not read this yet. It's on my list. It's on all of our lists, and including Simona's, is The Lost Queen.
Oh, Signe Pike. I want that so bad, but you cannot catch me paying $80 for a single book.
I don't blame you. That's especially for Australia. It's crazy. I have yet to read that, but for whatever reason, that I feel is going to give me that same type of vibe.
Yeah.
In all of this. I'm looking quickly. Yeah, Robin Hobb. I don't think necessarily like the Farseer reminds me of this, but just the writing style.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the setting is similar, but the way it emotes, I would say.
Yes.
Like,
it's just such a good book. And the fact that this, at this point in time, during the time that this is recorded, this is not a very well spoken of, or highly talked about book.
No, I think it's only got like 5,000 ratings on Goodreads.
Which is criminal. Because this is such a good book. And I'm a person where I will immediately know if I like a book. There will be books that I'm like, okay, I'm plodding through this and it's a good book, but it's just not me. By like the first chapter, I was like, this is absolutely something that I'm going to stick with so much. And the fact that nobody's talking about this, it's so insulting.
Crazy.
Yes. So, gosh, I just need more people to read this book. What did you rate it?
Controversial, because I know you guys didn't rate it as high as I did, which hurts my soul. But I gave it a 4.75. I like to leave. I don't necessarily like to rate a debut or a first book in a series 5 stars, because I like to give them that room to grow and impress me more. But I loved it. I felt like this book was written specifically with me in mind as someone that loves historical fiction. I love fantasy. I love low fantasy, high fantasy, like it was just written for me and I loved it. There were a few bits that I was like, oh, I don't love this necessarily as much, but I can see how it's important to the story. So no complaints from me, honestly. I ate that up.
I gave it a 4.25, and Simona also gave it a 4.25.
I know. I'm the outlier here.
No. So mine is, when it's a 4.0 for me, I only go to 5-star. I don't do the 6-star rating.
No, I have God tier books, but they're
I have God tier 5-star.
They're 5-star books. There's no such thing as a 6-star book, because you're just breaking a rating scale.
Yes, like there's a 5-star book. And then there's my God tier 5-star books that I'm like, these will forever sit at this. You can't tell me any different. I gave it a 4.25, and that it's like just complete minor details along the way. Because like you, I don't want to give, I think the only debut book that I shouldn't say debut, excuse me, first book in a series. The only book in a series that I've given a 5-star to is A Time of Dread. Out of every single book, I've never ever rated one a 5-star except for that. Because like you said, I want there to be padding for that growth in the next book. Because I feel like it's going to get better. This book laid down the foundation so that the other books can move with the storyline. And if you can do a good foundation and keep me entertained the way this book did, I'm all in. I think the only go on.
I was going to say, I think the only debut novel, I don't even think I gave it 5 stars, but the only first book in a series that was also a debut novel that I would say is probably the best I've ever read is Lycaonius Book 1 by James Islington.
I need to read that.
It was so good. I finished that series in like 2.5 days. These chunky boys.
You are crazy.
I know. Well,
I love you for it.
I had to finish them before I got them signed and personalized.
This is true. You can't be a fraud up in here.
No, I had to be like, to the authors that were there, I've read every book you guys have published.
You are that person.
I am that person.
I just happen to read all of your books.
Yeah.
I think the only thing for me was the schooling aspect. Like you said, it was important. And so I didn't necessarily like knock it for that, but I definitely did not enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, not a bad moment, just not for me.
Yeah.
So that's why it got knocked. What else? Oh, I was just going to say something and now I've lost my train of thought. I can't remember what it was. Shoot. Oh, well. It doesn't matter. I know that Simona rated it a 4.25 as well. So I have a feeling that one of these books is going to be a 5-star. And I look forward to that because I feel like I've just been in a slump with my books recently and I need...
Yeah. Well, I feel that I haven't touched really fantasy in like a week and a half, which is wild for me.
Because you're primarily fantasy.
Primarily fantasy and sci-fi, yeah. I have been dipping my toes into the unselected journals of Emma M. Lyon, and by dipping my toes in, I mean I've had to restrict myself to one a week, so they last.
Because they're short.
Oh my god, but they're so good. I guess we should say we'll just end the podcast maybe talking about like what we're currently reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have one more thing that I forgot to add. What I love, this is my train of thought. It
came back.
I love that Manda Scott is such a little nerd in this book. Like, I don't know if you read it, but the very back of this book where she's like, let me find it here. I don't know if this is ASMR right now. Oh man, I can't find it now. Where did it go? Shoot, I can't remember what it is. It was like an author's note. And she goes into detail about this historian found this to be true, but then later it contradicted into this historian. And there has been debate about so on and so forth. You're free to choose what you wish to believe. And I'm like, you little nerd, I love this so much that you can like just lay down the facts of what we know, what we don't know, what your creative liberties were, what weren't, and where we can find stuff. It just warmed my little historian heart over here.
See, I think, again, that's why I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm going to challenge you to go into the next books looking at it from a historical fiction lens and not a fantasy lens, because that might change how you experience the book.
I think it will.
This is all, like, think of it from, like, mythology. If you were doing Egyptian mythology, going back to that time that you so love, take that same mindset that you had when learning about that for the first time into these books, instead of thinking this needs to be some epic fantasy battle scenes, intense magic system rubric for it to be good.
I think that is how I need to look at the next book, because you're right. And while I am such a stickler, and like, thankfully, I don't know this history. So this was so refreshing. Like, if this was ancient Egyptian, we would not be having a podcast, because I'd be like, well, actually,
this is where you went wrong.
In the New Kingdom, we had this type of sarcophagi, and then like nobody cares. Nobody cares, and that.
I mean, I care, but
that's okay.
I know that will end up being a 6-hour-long podcast.
It will, and then I wouldn't have fun, and like I had so much fun with this book, and so I need to now, like you said, I desperately do, because I love that you didn't look at it through a fantastical lens. And you looked at it through the historical lens. And to be cheesy and corny, I feel like that just shows how important reading is and how subjective it is, because we each read the same book, but we got slightly different responses, reactions, ideas out of the same words on the same page.
Yeah, I think for me as well, I've always been like, fantasy and sci-fi are my like go-tos, but I'm quite a diverse reader. Like, I love reading literary fiction. I love reading historical fiction. Some of my favorite books, I spent probably a year just reading World War II lit fix. Like,
oh my gosh.
So that historical aspect of it works for me. I can always slip into that mindset where I'm like, this can have spirituality, this can have like mythological, there we go, I think that works out, aspects to it that I can understand could be viewed in a fantasy lens, but this was the nature of the reality in that time. It's not an imagination. And that's
for
I
sure.
think it's like different.
And this is I have only read less than a handful of historical fiction, so I'm dipping my toe into this genre. And Manda Scott is absolutely like setting the bar for me.
Yeah,
100%. So we finished Dreaming the Eagle. And next time, we're going to be talking about Dreaming the Bowl, which is book 2 in the Boudica series. Do you have any predictions? I know we didn't discuss like
obviously I think there's going to be children in an aspect here. I think we're going to see that loyalty and protectiveness come in motherhood as well, and watch how that adds layers to this character. I fear we are going to lose an important character in the next book. I don't know, my intuition's just telling me someone's going to die. But I also think we're going to get some more, like, a return to person with Boudica and Ermid. I think we're going to see them, like, come back together because you think they've just lost Ben's mum. So, like, the head...
Maka.
Yeah, so you've just lost her. So I think, if I remember correctly, that's going to put Ermid as like basically head dreamer for those people.
Maybe.
So I think there's that expectation now, and they're both now leaders in a different aspect that you're going to see them lean on each other. And Ermid's also a healer, so I think there's going to be that intimacy of maybe her doing like a midwifery role in pregnancy.
Ooh.
So I can see that happening. I also hope we see the relationship develop with Caradoc, because I feel like as they became romantic partners, we didn't really get to experience that enough.
Yeah.
I hope we see that. And then if he dies, Manda Scott's going to be hearing from me. I can tell you that for free.
Ma'am, we need to talk.
There will be a strongly worded letter, let me tell you.
I agree with you. I think that there's going to be motherhood involved. I feel like that is going to be the next chapter. I feel like that's going to put her in a position more vulnerable than she can ever imagine, because now it's not just her that she has to worry about. I think, like you said, there's going to be people that die and leave us. I think, and this might be from a fantastical lens, I don't know. I feel like we're going to get a betrayal. If I'm going to be honest, I think it's going to be from Bon. I feel like he's going to become the enemy, and it's not going to go over well. And I think that is going to be the ultimate sense of like, who are you? What do you stand for? Type of a thing. And
I also kind of agree with that, because I think the ending really like set that up, where his mum, when she finally appeared to him in a dream, because she was alive this whole time, was like, I forsake you for what you're doing. Like, I don't have that understanding because you should have tried more, essentially.
This is going to be his villain era. And I feel like that's going to happen.
But I think I'm putting my prediction out there. Either Boudica kills Bon or Bon kills her. And there's going to be like some, not in the next book, obviously. This is my, in the series. Far prediction. And that potentially has ruinous effects to my emotional well-being.
I know. I don't know what's going to be worse. But that's what I think. I think we're going to get a villain era from Bon at this point. Like, he's got nothing to lose now in his mind. And
I'm like clenching every aspect of my body right now, being like, I don't want it.
I know. Oh my gosh.
But I've been waiting for this podcast to read the next book. So
I know. And now we're going to get there. And I'm so excited because you have the book.
I do
have the pretty. You have the hardcover, and it's much prettier than this.
No, I have
It's just a larger version, isn't it?
It's a trade paperback.
Yeah, which is much nicer than.
I don't know. It's on my shelf. It's on my shelf somewhere.
Okay, so now that we discussed what we're going to read for the group, what are you reading this week as an individual? What is Meg reading?
I have an unselected journal of M.M. Lyon to finish. I will be finishing Memories of Ice by Stephen Erickson, Malazan, Book 3. And I might chuck a little litfic in there as well. I'm thinking maybe Mada by Kaveh Akbar.
Oh, I had not heard of that one.
Let me show you. It's right beside me. That is how high up on my TBR it is.
Oh, Martyr. Okay. I was like, what? Okay.
I also got my Us Against You by Frederick Buckman, Beartown Book 2.
Ooh, I haven't read Beartown yet.
I will be finishing that.
I'm assuming Beartown is good. I hear nothing but good things about it.
So good.
Really?
Yeah. But it's
okay.
It's not like a fluffy book.
Do you think I'd like it?
No. No, I say that because I understand what you like in a book, and I understand how you know the power of Robin Hobb's writing, but you didn't necessarily enjoy the full aspect of
pacing.
Pacing of it. Frederick Buckman is an incredible writer, but if you're not ready to just sit and experience human nature and how humans are without necessarily the most dramatic things happening, I don't think you'll enjoy it, but I think you should try.
I'll try Beartown. I'll read it quietly. And if it's not like for me,
I think an audiobook would be good if you like immersive read it at 3 times speed, that kind of.
You crazy. 1.75 is the max. There was one book. Sorry, this is off topic. There was one book that I've read at 2.25 and I felt like I was on top of the world. Like, holy cow, what is happening? I'm always a 1.75. The fact that you can do anything faster than that blows my mind.
See, even just like without immersive reading, my natural audiobook speed is 2.5.
That's
Jeez.
Bravo. That's all I have to say.
But I put like, you know this, when you send me voice notes, it has to be on 2 times speed or I will not listen to it.
Well, in your defense, I will send you a voice note of just me walking around and it's 25 minutes.
My love language, it's fine.
Because I am a certified yapper and I don't know when to quit.
What about you? What are you reading this week?
I just started this afternoon, Silver Blood Promise by James Logan.
Oh.
I love this book.
I have it. Where is
this is so good.
I have wanted to read it so long. I found it in a little free library and I left it there because I was like, I don't have a book to like drop with me, which is criminal. When do I ever not carry a book? But when I went back, it was gone. I was like,
oh, you missed out.
Stabbed me in the heart. I went and bought it.
So good. Cause Simona got it for me and I've wanted it for so long. And then I'm like, I'm just going to do it. Cause side note, I did DNF last contract of Isako, but I feel like
you should still buy the broken binding version and use code MEG at checkout because it's pretty.
Use code MEG at checkout for the next couple months. Use code MEG at checkout. Help a girl out, please and thank you. I think I'm still gonna read it, but I'm not going to get to the it's going to be after the fact that the book has come out.
Yeah. Because
I'm about halfway through and I can't devote any more time to it. This book, Silver Blood Promise, it is so good. And it is so... Have you read Lies of Locke Lamora?
No, not yet.
Oh my gosh.
I've had it on my shelf for 7 years.
Well, that's a problem, ma'am.
I know. It's like...
This...
Yeah, somewhere.
This book reminds me in a less gritty way of Lies of Locke Lamora. And I can't tell you why. It just gives me that, like, it's not humorous, but it just, like, the character feels like that for some odd reason. It gives me the vibes, and I love it. So I'm hoping to get that done by this weekend. I might pick up Warbreaker. I might.
Ooh, you know how I feel about the Cosmere.
I know.
You know how I feel. I cannot wait. I am chomping at the bit for you to read Stormlight.
I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there.
That series has such a special place in my heart. And obviously, like, books like Faithful and the Fallen, series like that, Empire of the Vampire, the ones that we read together and we experienced together, holds a special place because they're, like, sentimental to me, whereas Cosmere, especially the Stormlight Archive, I read by myself. It wasn't like I was, like, really big in posting or anything like that. That series, oh my days. I need Era 2 more than I need anything else in my life.
Maybe we'll read it together if I can get through it fast enough.
Well, I'll probably reread Stormlight Archive when you start reading it, because I'll have FOMO of you getting to be in one of my favorite series without me.
Wait till my summer. Give me about a month or two.
Oh, easy.
And then I might be there.
I mean, I still have to finish Realm of the Elderlings this year and Malazan.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have to finish Suneater, Malazan.
Oh, Suneater.
I don't know if I'm going to do it.
I have to do Demon in White, actually, while we're still talking about books, because I promised Noah and Kate I would finish and Viv, actually, that I would finish Demon in White this coming week after my surgery. And I was like, I have no excuse, because I'm just going to be laying in
sitting
a bed.
around. You can do House of Chains and Arthur. Or is it Camelot? What did I get you?
Arthur. I have to do Camelot first, because that's the second book.
Oh, shoot. I got excited.
I loved that. But
I got excited.
So I need to finish Suneater too. But I got Demon in White and is it Fool's Errand? That's Tawny Man book 1 in Realm of the Elderlings. I got both the audiobooks for that, so.
I mean, I just bought Ship of Magic. So therefore.
You do Live Ship. Live Ship is so good. I think.
I got bullied. I'm going to do it.
I didn't bully you.
You and someone else both bullied me. And he's bullied me too. So therefore, I'm bullied quite a bit over here.
You bring it onto yourself.
It's fine.
This woman had never watched Star Wars until this year.
Until 2-3 weeks ago, to be honest. Date it, timestamp it. I finished the 6th movie, episode 3, this week. And I started Kenobi the other day.
I love that. I honestly haven't watched a lot of the new age Star Wars. Like, I'm not interested in that many spin-offs, to be honest. But I am excited for the new Lord of the Rings. So damn excited for that. But I don't want to go in with high expectations.
I'm guarding my heart on that one. That's a conversation for another time. Because now we're at time at this point. Oh my gosh. I am so happy we did this.
Simona, I miss you.
Simona, you left us. She'll be back. She will be back. She's experiencing technical difficulties, but we're learning, we're growing, overcome and adapt, right? Okay. I'm going to call it. I will see everybody later. Shield wall out. Bye, guys.